Podcasts are hot right now. How do I know? Well, you're listening to one right now, aren't you? But you might be wondering, how on earth do I get my voice out there and start my own podcast? It all seems so intimidating. Between hosting and platforms and monetization, it can get real complicated real quick. Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We started this podcast over 2 years ago, not knowing clue one on how to do it. So how do we do it? We did it with Anchor. Anchor is the free podcast app with creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on all the platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And everybody likes money, right? Well, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So go right now, download the free Anchor app, or go to Anchor FM to get started. It's the eCommerce Minute, your daily dose of e-commerce, tech, and retail news with your host, John Suder, Bart, Mroz, and Brittany Blackman. The eCommerce Minute is a production of SUMO Heavy, a digital commerce consulting firm located in Brooklyn, New York, and Philadelphia. Find us on the web at sumoheavy.com.
Hello, listeners. It's Brittany Blackman, Junior Marketing Coordinator at SUMO Heavy. A quick note. We're in an unprecedented time, but with this comes an unprecedented amount of unity. Everyone is coming together to help, no matter what industry they're in. And now we're doing our part. If you advertise on the eCommerce Minute, we'll donate 100% of the proceeds to Slice Out Hunger. Slice Out Hunger sends pizza to healthcare workers on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic while simultaneously supporting small businesses. To get involved, drop us a note at hello@sumoheavy.com or reach out through our various social media accounts. Stay safe, stay inside, and wash your hands. We're all in this together.
It's eCommerce Minute, episode 681.
In today's episode, Costco brings white glove delivery and service in-house to boost e-commerce.
Costco is planning to enhance its ability to deliver the appliances, furniture, and other bulky products it sells with a big last-mile logistics and installation acquisition. The warehouse club chain announced that it has acquired the third-party delivery and installation company Innovel Solutions for $1 billion with a B in cash. Costco plans to leverage the Service Live platform, which is a solution for complex installations previously owned by Transform Holdco, Innovel's former parent and the holding company for Sears and Kmart. Costco had already been a customer of Innovel since 2015. Costco will maintain the deal with Transform Holdco to provide warehousing, delivery, and installation services for Sears and Kmart as well, or at least the ones that are left. Transform Holdco plans to use the $1 billion with a B in cash influx to pay off all of the company's non-real estate debt. Ooh, that must feel nice. Innovel has provided big companies like Sears with final mile delivery, installation, and white glove capabilities for bulky products across the U.S. and Puerto Rico for decades. Products served through the Innovel include major appliances, furniture, mattresses, TVs, grills, patio, fitness equipment, and wine cellars. It consistently ranks in the top quartile of customer satisfaction scores. Costco's exact plans for the addition of Innovel are still unclear since Costco already uses Target's Shipt to handle deliveries to its members. It can certainly use access to its own box trucks and white glove service in the meantime to sell more washers and dryers. And there's not a huge need to discontinue making deliveries for rival retails. Innovel is a business venture in and of itself. Nevertheless, surely Costco has to be weary of relying on competing businesses to serve its own customers for too long. It's important to note that this is the second major last-mile delivery acquisition that's taken shape since 2017 when Target acquired Shipt. Innovel isn't quite the same thing, but Costco can push it in that direction, giving the company an in-house option it has complete control of to compete with its rivals. We're looking at you, Walmart. That's a big score for Costco, and especially now as we're talking about more convenience. I don't know if you've noticed a tone in our podcast the last week or so. We're talking about how businesses is kind of shifting to convenience and getting things picked up and delivered and contactless delivery and all that kind of stuff. Timing of this is probably good for Costco.
Oh, yeah.
I just wonder where they're shipping from.
That's a good, well, it's probably warehouses around. I mean, when you buy a washer at Costco, do they have a stack of washers in the back? Probably not. So,
I mean, it depends on what the delivery is, but I think you do. There's someone on the floor. I mean, technically, that's a warehouse, right?
Yeah, I mean, some like mattresses is probably. I go to Sam's. Unfortunately, my Costco is a little too far for just errands and stuff. But we have Sam's and BJ's, and yeah, you get stacks of mattresses. But I'm just thinking things like a great example. It's like you go to Costco, you buy a pool table. There's not 12 pool tables in the back. The pool table is coming from somewhere. Right. And this type of service, what they call white glove delivery, is very critical because it's great that you can sell the thing, but if you can't get it into the customer's hands and set up properly, then you've failed miserably. And apparently this Holdco company has been around for a long time, and they did all the stuff for Sears when Sears was the big Mahoff, and now Costco's taken over. And it's really sad/funny that Sears, which was the big, you go back 20 years, when you bought an appliance, where did you go? You probably went to Sears. You probably went to Sears and Kmart and to buy all that kind of stuff. And now Sears and Kmart are a customer of Costco in theory.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's crazy.
It is wild, but also do you think with all this new stuff, not new stuff, I mean, things have been rolling out slowly for years, like Boppus, your favorite word, and now your favorite service. Do you think that with this stuff going on, I think that's going to accelerate all those things? And, is retail going to completely change to just being a warehouse, maybe having some store like Costco, right, where people still shop, but for most of the stuff gets just delivered?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, and it makes sense in many different ways, meaning you could have we'll exclude Costco for this moment because Costco, it's literally in the name, Costco warehouse. I mean, but you have more of that. Yeah, it's just a warehouse because then you can reduce the footprint of your store. You keep only the stuff that you need to keep, multiples of. So I'm looking at grocery for that. But yeah, I mean, you go in your warehouse and then everything just gets delivered. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. And the way these logistics companies are set up, you could theoretically open a retail store and then just depend on these logistics companies to fulfill all your orders and have a smaller footprint. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, a lot of furniture stores are like that now, but
yeah,
I see it expanding. To your point, I would see that expanding.
Yeah, I mean, delivery and pickup, order online pickup. And I think all that stuff is going to get sort of expanded, right? The online world, it's just going to be bigger.
Yeah.
I think people are going to shop differently.
And we've made this point before where it's like e-commerce explodes and you can order literally anything online. But there's that certain point where it's like, I need to go touch it. I need to go look at it. I need to go see what it, just see what it feels like. And, we always talk about mattresses. Like you can buy a mattress online. That's easy, but you have no idea until you get it, what it actually feels like. So
yeah, I think some of that stuff is gonna change, with VR, AR being more ubiquitous. I mean, that technology is gonna come to a lot more fruition. Like it was like AR started to come up, right? Now it's getting better, especially now we talk about tech, but especially with the new iPad coming out.
Yeah.
That whole, it has LiDAR on it, which is crazy.
Yeah, I saw some demos of that. It's wild.
Yeah, it's sick. But also, I think VR is going to all of a sudden become a thing a lot faster.
Because now everybody's home.
Well, not only home, but I think, listen, the explosion of meetings online has been big, right? Everybody's using it, which is great. But also, I think people will need that connection to people and travel less for business, and they'll just put VR goggles on and have the same conversation they have anyway, right?
Yeah.
So I think overall, you laugh, but that's coming. That has to come.
Yeah, and I it's a very good point, and I think all of what's happening right now will just accelerate that. Whereas before, VR, we'll just talk specifically VR, where it's like, oh, put your goggles on, or you're going to play a game. Yeah, people need that connection, and as we're seeing with everyone, the work from home and the Zoom, we'll call the new Zoom culture. I think suddenly it's going to make a lot more sense where it didn't before to a lot of people, and us smart people that were already doing it. We're going to look really smart in the end.
Yeah. And I know this is like a shopping thing, but I think people are going to get used to doing a lot more shopping the way we've been doing it forever now.
True that. Okay, so we'll talk a little about Innovel. They employ more than 1,500 people and operate 11 distribution and fulfillment centers, more than 100 final mile cross-dock centers, and more than 15 million square feet of warehouse space. The company also operates dedicated call centers. Very interesting. All right, close it with a little stat time. Online retailer AO.com reported a 200% increase in freezer sales, and the John Lewis department store saw a similar uplift. An AO.com representative attributed the increase to customers needing places to keep their stockpiled and hoarded food. Even before the coronavirus outbreak, 10% of this year's grocery shopping was expected to be done online, according to numbers from Invesp, and that number will explode. And like I said, we're probably going to do a podcast just surrounding the changes, a general podcast on the changes in the grocery business per se. Stay tuned for that. You guys got anything else?
Nope.
Nope. All right. That's your e-commerce minute for today. We'll see you on the internet tomorrow. That's it for today's show. If you like the show, do us a favor and subscribe or leave us a review on iTunes. And don't forget, you can now listen to the e-commerce minute on your Amazon device. Just add e-commerce minute to your flash briefing. And finally, if you have a comment or suggestion or just want to say hi, find us on social media at SUMO Heavy.